really is the accumulation of all the hits that matter the most. And logically, that makes sense, right? If it's not just, one or two hits that ultimately end up causing these problems later, it's the total load over the years.
Chronic traumatic encephalopathy is a neurodegenerative disease that has been linked to repeated head injuries, particularly in contact sports like football. CTE is characterized by the accumulation of an abnormal protein called tau in the brain, leading to cognitive and behavioral symptoms over time. It's a serious concern in the field of sports medicine and has raised awareness about the potential long-term effects of concussions and head trauma. The effects of CTE can vary but often include symptoms like memory loss, confusion, impaired judgment, impulse control problems, aggression, depression, anxiety, and eventually progressive cognitive decline. These symptoms tend to worsen over time and can have a significant impact on an individual's quality of life. Currently, CTE can only be definitively diagnosed post-mortem through brain tissue analysis. This involves examining the brain for the presence of abnormal tau protein deposits, which are a hallmark of the condition. Researchers are actively working on developing methods to diagnose CTE in living individuals, such as through advanced neuroimaging techniques like PET scans or biomarker analysis. But these methods are still under development and not yet widely available for clinical use. Diagnosing CTE in living individuals remains a challenge, and most cases are confirmed only after death. The question of whether NFL running backs are paid enough is subjective and can vary depending on different perspectives. Some arguments in favor of higher pay for running backs include the physically demanding nature of the position, the potential for shorter careers due to the wear and tear on their bodies, and the fact that they often shoulder a significant portion of the offensive workload. On the other hand, some arguments against higher pay for running backs include the evolving strategies in the NFL that emphasize passing over running, concerns about injury risk leading to shorter careers, and the limited shelf life of peak performance for many running backs.
The best players in the league, regardless of position, who are coming up for long-term contracts, and they're trying to control the salaries, they're trying to control the market, and devalue the position and not compensate these guys for what they have earned and what they provide to their teams. They're invaluable to the teams. The running backs are invaluable to the teams. Mm-hmm. Unless you have Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, you are going to need a running game and a running back to help you.
Ultimately, the question of player compensation in professional sports is complex and influenced by various factors, including team budgets, league economics, player performance, and collective bargaining agreements. But there is another factor that plays a role in how much an NFL running back gets paid, and that is passing offense productivity. NFL teams are no longer looking for the traditional running back that can put their head down and get physical yards. They much prefer a running back that can get a few yards in the running game and be a threat in the passing game. The problem with building around the old traditional NFL running back was the risk for injury is significantly higher than other positions. And the patience, luck, and skill it takes to find a franchise running back that can take you to the promised land is like drafting LeBron. It's not that easy. NFL running backs like Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara dominate the running back market because of their skill sets and impact in the passing game. Both players are opposite from traditional running backs. NFL teams like the Titans try to put the ball in Derrick Henry's hands as much as possible, while the 49ers and Saints use their running backs completely differently. They limit their running back touches so they can prevent injury and let them be more impactful with the extra energy due to being able to rest. We saw what happens to traditional running backs in today's league, and it is very short-term. Former Dallas Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott may be the biggest example of how quickly a top running back can fade into obscurity. Playing college football at Ohio State University before entering the NFL. During his time at Ohio State, Elliott established himself as one of the top running backs in the country from 2013 to 2015. In his final college season in 2015, Elliott had a standout performance. He rushed for 1,821 yards and 23 touchdowns, helping Ohio State win the national championship. One of his most memorable games was in the 2015 College Football Playoff National Championship, where he rushed for 246 yards and 4 touchdowns against Oregon. Ezekiel Elliott's impressive college career and his ability to perform in big games contributed to his reputation as a top prospect entering the NFL draft. He was selected 4th overall by the Dallas Cowboys in 2016, and as of 2023 has been released due to lack of diversity in the passing game. If we go down to the Bay Area and take a look at 49ers player Deebo Samuel, he's the reason the running back position is no longer needed in the National Football League. Deebo Samuel, in addition to being a wide receiver, has occasionally been utilized as a rusher in the San Francisco 49ers offense. The team takes advantage of his versatility by incorporating rushing plays designed specifically for him. The 49ers often use him on end-around plays, jet sweeps, and other designed runs to take advantage of his speed and elusiveness in the open field. These rushing plays add an extra dimension to the team's offense and can catch defenses off guard. Samuel's success as a rusher is closely tied to his ability to break tackles, navigate through traffic, and turn short gains into significant yardage. His role as both a receiver and rusher highlights his versatility and impact on the way the running back position is looked at. In recent years, there has been a shift in the role of running backs in the NFL, with their traditional role evolving due to changes in offensive strategies and the emphasis on passing. This has led to the rise of passing offenses that prioritize quarterbacks and wide receivers, reducing the reliance on running backs for yardage and points. Rather than relying on a single workhorse running back, many teams have adopted a running back by committee approach. This means that multiple running backs share the workload, reducing the individual workload of each player. Running backs with strong pass-catching skills have become more valuable. Teams use running backs in the passing game as receivers on screens, checkdowns, and design plays. This contributes to a shift in the focus from traditional rushing to more involvement in the passing attack. Let alone the physical demands of the running back position can lead to a higher risk of injuries. This has prompted teams to manage the workload of their running backs more carefully to help prevent injuries and prolong their careers. The emergence of mobile quarterbacks who can also run has changed offensive dynamics. Some of the rushing plays that were once directed at running backs are now executed by quarterbacks, reducing the dependence on traditional running plays. Given the salary cap constraints, teams might prefer to invest more in other positions like quarterback, offensive line, and defense, which could lead to less investment in top-tier running backs. Traditional running backs often face a higher risk of injury due to the physical demands of their position. They carry the ball, run into tackles, block, and sometimes catch passes, making them vulnerable to collisions and hits from multiple directions. The combination of speed, strength, and the repetitive nature of their movements can lead to injuries, especially to the lower body. Running backs are often involved in high-impact plays, which can increase the likelihood of injuries like sprains, strains, and even more serious issues, like torn ligaments or fractures. The workload and the intensity of the game can contribute to wear and tear on their bodies over time. Players are now more self-aware and mindful of how they treat their bodies. While the role of running backs has evolved, the rushing attack will forever play a crucial part in NFL offenses. Talented athletes who can contribute both as rushers and receivers remain valuable assets in the NFL, even if their roles have shifted due to changing offensive trends.